So we're talking with Neil Spyder Giraldo, his wife, Pat Benatar, along with Loverboy and Journey, big show at the iWireless Center. You're a part of the show as well, right?
That's correct.
And I mentioned that your wife is Pat Benatar. You're kind of responsible for helping her create that sound. But let's go back to the beginning for a moment, because you got your start with Mr. Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo himself, right?
That's correct, Rick Derringer. Yeah, I think I just turned 21, or I was just about 22. I can't exactly what year I joined that, but yeah, I auditioned for Rick. We got along really well, and I was with him for about a year and a half. It was fantastic.
And then how'd you meet Pat Benatar?
All right, I met her because I just finished a record with Rick called Guitars and Women. I was in Woodstock, New York, and I was going back home to Cleveland. And I got a call from a record company that said that we signed this girl, this young girl. She doesn't have a band. She doesn't have anything. She wants to put a band together. She's looking for a partner, a guitar player she can group with, be a partner, and create a sound together. And I says, well, I've never heard of her. He goes, well, you wouldn't, because she hasn't done anything yet.
Right.
Did you meet her? I says, well, I'm trying to get back home to Cleveland. I says, he said, it was very funny. He said, well, listen, if it doesn't work out, I'll get you another ticket back to Cleveland. But if it works out, do you mind staying? I go, no, not at all. So I drove down, had a car take me down from Woodstock to New York, met with Patricia, and the rest is history.
So you said, boy, not only does she sound good, but she's hot.
Well, yeah. Well, let's rephrase that a little bit more correctly. It was the very, very beginning, and she sounded great. That's correct. And she was married, and we didn't even think about that. She
really?
Me. No, she has a little different story, but I mean, I was interested only in the professional aspects of the job and to create a sound, So, and listen, I love women, so and of course she reminded me of Via Farrell, so I was already hooked. And so, I wouldn't be a guitar player without having those kind of eyes. So what are you gonna do?
I'll tell you what, you look at this show at the iWireless Center, Journey, Loverboy, Pat Benatar, when you're talking 80s rock and roll and 80s hits, I mean, does it get any bigger?
Yeah, there's quite a few, huh? Yeah, we did roll a lot of junk out there. Not junk. We rolled a lot of music. Yeah, we were pretty busy in the 80s. We had a record contract that said we had to make a record every 9 months or we'd be in suspension. So What happened was our manager, instead of him fighting the record company, bowed to the record company, so we released a record every 9 months. So that's why it kind of works, I guess, Well,
I'll tell you what, what's cool about Pat Benatar, you think of female vocalists in the 80s, and you got a lot of pop, whether it's Gloria Estefan, Debbie Gibson, the list goes, Madonna, the list goes on and on. Very few rock female vocalists, right?
That's correct. Well, here's what happened. This is why this works. What happened was she wanted a band. She wanted to be like Mick Jagger, Keith Richards, Jimmy Page, Robert Plant. Now, I've always looked for a singer that I can group with, too, after I left. Well, I was still with Rick, and I was thinking, wow, wouldn't it be great to kind of start from ground zero, start up, and create something with a singer, somebody. So I was looking around for somebody I can meet and work together with. I just didn't know it would be a female. So here's the difference. The difference was she wanted to rock, and I says, okay, well, this is exactly what I do. And she never had that before, so it was like, wow. And then I kept raising the keys. She didn't sing like that in the very beginning. I don't know if anybody knew that. What happened was she'd only go to falsetto. And when I heard her range, and I said, well, you got to open that up a little more. We got to get that to open up. And we tried, and then we finally hit it, and I go, now we got it.
Now we've got a sound.
Now we got it. So, but see, that's the difference. The difference was if you're Cyndi Lauper or any of those people, you're trying to create hits, like pop hits. We were a rock and roll band from the very beginning. That's why we've always been aggressive. If you've seen us in 1979, we weren't just a girl singer out there with no aggressive backing. We were a rock and roll band from the very beginning.
Well, aside from Pat Benatar, you've also worked with John Waite.
Correct.
Kenny Loggins. Mm-hmm. Rick Springfield. Did you write Jesse's Girl?
I didn't write it. I arranged it and produced it, did all the guitars.
No, I wish that I had Jesse's Girl.
Now, does that mean that you get to go out to the mailbox every so often and get a little check for that, though, I hope?
I did for a little while until the co-producer on it decided that he wouldn't want to do that anymore, and I didn't want to fight him legally. And Rick's a nice guy, so
sure.
You know, yeah, we just kind of said, well, okay, but yeah, things do they trickle in still. Mm-hmm.
Oh, very good. Hey, listen, we can't wait to see the show. It's iWireless Center tomorrow night. Journey, Loverboy, and of course you and Pat Benatar. What can we expect out of this show?
Well, here's what you're going to expect. Since there's 3 bands playing, we can't really do the normal 75 to 90 minutes that
right.
we normally would. So we're cut down. We're about 55 minutes. So we try to hit it as hard as we possibly can. So there's the hits in there. We'll throw a few surprises in there. We change that up every once in a while. So it's mostly going to be the hits that will, in the early days, which makes us all the way through to the early 90s. And there'll be some other stuff in there that'll be a surprise. And by the time we're done, I'm going to guarantee that you're going to be pretty damn tired. That's all I'm going to say. And you're going to want some more, but we're not going to be able to give it to you.
That's the way show business is supposed to be. Always leave them wanting more.
Always leave them wanting more. Exactly.
Hey, real quick before we run, how did you get the nickname Spyder?
Well, Spyder was given to me by Patricia on our very first tour. Right after we made the record, we went on the road right away, and it was in September. And we were just walking, and we were already, after the record was done, we were in an intimate relationship at that point because it was impossible. We were always together. We were each other's muse. We fell in love with each other. So we were walking through this town, one of the very first dates we were doing, and we saw a sign that said Spyder's Dinner Club or something like that, and I liked the colors black and yellow. So she said, well, look, Spyder's Dinner Club, and they're black and yellow. I said, wow. She says, I'll call you Spyder. I go, okay.
And the rest is rock and roll history.
That's exactly right, Mark. That's right, buddy.
Hey, Neil, great to meet you, and best of luck with the tour.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we're going to be rocking hard. Hope everybody has a good time.